the tip is take your tip and just squeeze it down and hold it. For me, it helps. Hopefully it'll help you.
It's the Sway Parade with Chuck Sway.
Welcome into the Sway Parade. My name is Chuck Sway, and this is the parade. Thank you for joining me on another week of the program. And before we get started with anything, news, deep shot sports, or clips, I just want to let you know what I ask of you, the viewer and the listener. If you're viewing, it's here on YouTube. If you're listening, really any podcast platform, if you want to swap, that's how you find them, is whatever platform you are consuming on, is just leave a review. It doesn't even have to be 5 stars. Other shows might say, hey, 5-star review, it helps with the algorithm. Just leave a review, because we're not just playing to any old algorithm. We're playing to the almighty algorithm. And anything, a comment, subscribe, whatever, is an offering to the most digital high. And we will be praying to the almighty algorithm at the end of the show. But throughout this episode and every episode, really, if it gets to a point where you're like, oh, I like that, or, oh, I don't like that, let the algorithm know. Anyway, leave a review, leave a comment, do all that stuff, because it helps out the show. Before we get into said show, I want to remind all the listeners out there in Parade Land, the hotline to call. It's always open, 818-275-SWAY, 7929, if you're just looking at a number pad. Call that number, leave any sort of message. Every single message that has been played, every caller that has called in, it is not played until the recording hath begun. So it's raw. It's a visceral reaction of whatever you have to say. We had that question a few weeks ago now of how many 5-year-olds could I take on? And I ask that you ask yourself the same questions, hard-hitting questions, deep stories, and just topical events, questions on that. So call that number, save it in your phone. If you're feeling frisky, pick up the phone, just give it a ring. 818-275-SWAY, 7929. Now, let's start out the show with getting into the deep shot.
Guns are strong!
Look at that big old belly.
Chuck, you're getting me restless.
The deep shot.
Okay, first order of business, as I try to make it the first order of business on each episode, when it is relevant, is the Buffalo Bills influence that this segment has. It's visible if you are watching on YouTube. We have the Josh Allen signed helmet. There's an entire lore of my personal Josh Allen obsession that you can go back and find on the deep shot. If you don't go back. But if you really feel so inclined, you can. The whole thing rundown. Josh Allen came into the league. He's a football player for the Buffalo Bills. Came into the league his rookie year. My fellow co-hosts and I made just seemingly at the time, a casual bet. Hey, this Josh Allen guy from Wyoming, I mean, who can point out Wyoming on a map? Most people can't. Is he going to give any sort of success to the Bills, or is he going to be just like a lot of quarterbacks that come through and be, hey, this is our guy. He's going to turn the team around, and then it just doesn't happen. So the bet was, hey, if the Bills can win 6 games out of 16 back then before they extended the season by a game, hey, let's just get the Josh Allen, the jerseys, not full-blown jerseys, but the shirts with the number and the name. And then from there, I was like, well, okay, they won 6 games, barely. They seem like a decent team. Could they go for 10? let's bet on that. And that's how the helmet came into my possession. And it's just kind of grown from there. Sundays at this point, because we're full swing in the NFL, is drooling a bit when the Bills are playing, just kind of like, yeah, that's good football. And then also just clenching teeth like, come on, this is a squad. They got to win. They want to make it to the big game. So to start out on the deep shot this week, it's going back a few weeks now when the Bills played the Dolphins and ended up losing. It was a very good game, tough fought, but the Dolphins came out on top. But during that game, there was a little bit of a scuffle between Josh Allen and Dolphins defensive lineman Christian Wilkins. In the heat of the moment, Josh Allen ripped his helmet off in the bottom of the pig pile and got up and was pretty hot and ended up getting a flag and sportsmanlike conduct on old Jossie boy because you just can't rip helmets off. But then the league did a bit of investigating and found that old Joshy boy wasn't just ripping helmets off to have a fun time and to just get the team riled up. No, there was a much more sinister act that occurred. And the act, according to the investigation, was a grope of sorts by Mr. Wilkins. At the bottom of that pile, I believe, just recalling on memory, that it was a run by Josh that resulted in a first down. And in that pile, there was, some sort of groping, which if anyone unpromptly grabs your beanbag, especially in a high competitive atmosphere, you're going to be a little hot. You're not going to be hot and bothered. You're going to be hot. And that's why the helmet flew off. Well, the league came down on Christian Wilkins and fined him $13,261, which leads you to think, and this tweeter, this is Amanda, Bill's Mafia, shout out Amanda, brought up an interesting point that it costs just $13,000 to grab Josh Allen in his Lil Allens. So something to keep in mind. You probably just want to do it out on the field because, it's just, I guess, part of the game. But a price has been set. He had that rookie card that sold for like $312,000, I believe, some time ago now, because it was before the season started. We did the math on the value of a Josh Allen signature, and he ended up signing his teammate's neck, Dawson Knox, and how much his neck was now worth. But I mean, more fun math of what Josh Allen's worth is and what you can do to Josh Allen if you have the scratch. Now, the 13K is a low number because this is the league. This is during football. If you were to try this, your fine will probably be higher than $13,000 just in the money. But you would also probably be dealing with some sort of legal troubles. You have lawyer costs. You have probably something on your record because at that point, if it's, I guess, off the field, it's molestation. So just keep that in mind if you are looking to grope Josh Allen or anyone really. Not really worth it unless you're playing a game and you're trying to get that competitive edge. Moving on here on the deep shot and staying with football, but kind of off the field, on the field, but some events that have transpired off the field. So I believe it was it Sunday night, Monday night, a few weeks ago now, the San Francisco 49ers hosted the Los Angeles Rams. And during the broadcast, some Yahoo, if you want to call them that, ran out on the field. And I mean, these happen multiple times throughout the NFL season. They happened, last year in the NBA season with the animal protests, those women that were handcuffing themselves to the hoop stanchion or running out of the field trying to look like a ref. It seems to be that the streaking, as it's kind of colloquially known, is not just to take your clothes off and run on the field and be like, look at me and my willy, grab it. It only cost you 13 grand. Now it's turning into a platform for these extremists, dare I say, to raise awareness for whatever their cause may be. And the theme so far, in reference to the NBA drama last season, and then here at San Francisco in Santa Clara, is it's for some sort of cause when it comes to animal rights. So they run out on the field or the court or wherever acting like total monkeys to raise awareness for, like, monkeys are being experimented on for hair products. I don't know. I mean, pick your cause and promote it how you want. But this guy ran out onto the field. And before I play this clip, I just want to give a little bit of 2 cents, kind of a jab at the networks that broadcast these games, because I believe this was Monday night, now that I'm recalling, because you had your main broadcast with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, which I've gone on record before and saying, hey, he's the guy who starts to come and then he pulls out. That's Troy. And then there's, Joe Buck. They're not the best to listen to, but they've been doing it for a long time. But ESPN has been doing the Peyton and Eli Manning, doing their looser commentary, watching the game. So the main broadcast, which I can't explain to you why, I was watching with the Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, even though I hate it. It's like love to hate it sort of situation. They just cut away to the players as like, oh, there's a guy out on the field, and we're not going to cut to it and show you what's going on because we don't want to give them that shine on national TV. But somehow, in all intents and purposes, a better broadcast with the Manning brothers, they showed it. So, a bit of a conflict with ESPN. It's like, oh, the prim and proper Joe and Troy, we can't show you the bad stuff that's going on. But Peyton and Eli, fuck it. You guys want to see some weird shit? There you go. So just my little gripe with that. But here is a video from either a coach's box or a suite in the stadium. So it's far away, but you can see what happens here. Guy's running. He's got the smoke, the little smoke candle thing, pink smoke running around. Security is doing their job, chasing him down, trying to get to him. And he runs by the Rams sideline. And at this point, you have one player, which, like I said, it's up in the booth, so it's far away. You can't tell who it is. But he starts running towards him because it's like, you are now 5 feet away from professional killers on the gridiron. You get away from security, but now you got us to deal with. And so right here, another player, this is Bobby Wagner, former Seahawk, comes in and just gives a good, not form tackle because he didn't go down with him, but a good form bump. They're trying to get him out of bounds, or at least the boundary here would be the security guard closest to him. Bowls him over, and they take him down, and he gets subdued and taken away and gets the charge of, I've researched it before. I always forget when you run out on the field, it's some form of trespassing or whatever. It's illegal. You can't do it. And in a lot of cases, you just get banned from the stadium, the field, wherever you did it at. And then you get a criminal record. Same thing as if you were going to go and grope an athlete. It's a crime. Same thing. It's not as serious, but still running out on the field, something you don't really want to do. But he has gone out and filed a formal complaint against Bobby Wagner for such an act. The animal rights activist who was tackled by Los Angeles Rams linebacker Bobby Wagner has apparently filed an assault complaint following the incident. Let's get more into this. The protester, widely identified as Alex Taylor of Direct Action Everywhere, ran on the field carrying a pink flare during the Rams game against San Francisco. After evading security, he was tackled by Wagner, who, like I said, certified killers. Bobby Wagner, Super Bowl champion, 6-time All-Pro. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill player that made it to the league. Bobby Wagner is a baller. Wagner said he had tackled the protester out of concern for the safety of others, which is a fair argument, but also too, it's like, hey, I'm down here to play a game. I want to play the game, and you have stopped it. I'm trying to get out there and trying to keep warm. I'm going to lay your ass out. So Bobby said, that's not making a play. That's just keeping it safe. You don't know what the fan got or what they're doing. You see it all the time, and we don't know what they're carrying in their pockets. It's whatever that little smoke stuff is, but that shit could be dangerous. One of the security guys on the other side, it looked like he got hurt, and security looked like he was struggling. So I was frustrated, so I took it out on him. I mean, fair. If you're going to go play in the lion's den, expect to get bitten and potentially eat it. And he ate it on the turf or on the grass pretty hard. Direct Action Everywhere, which is the animal rights group, they wanted to raise awareness on the trial of 2 of their group members who were accused of breaking into a pork production farm in 2017. You might have missed your time to really raise awareness for that since it's so old. Like, our friends are in trouble for doing this at a pork facility. It's like, we're here to watch football. Who fucking cares? The group also made a statement with Bobby Wagner's fantastic tackle that it was a blatant assault. So I guess in their eyes, if you make the decision to hop out on the field, start running around with your flare, your pink smoke, you're like, my cause, I'm helping. I guess you still just retain all the protections of like, why would you do that to me? I was just trying to spread awareness for pork farm in 2017. That's so mean. He had pads and I didn't. Can I get a flag on this? No, fuck you. Don't do it and don't get laid out. So really don't have much ground to stand on. I doubt that anything will come of this. Bobby Wagner gets indicted, has to go to court for this. But like, so it's true that you laid out this man at this game, right? It's like, I did. I felt like it. Like, okay, makes sense to me. This fan here, this person is not a member of either team, right? It's like, from what I could tell, he wasn't wearing a 49ers uniform. He wasn't wearing a Rams uniform. So yeah, it's like, okay. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and close this case. Sir, Mr. Wagner. No, not Wagner. That's Bobby Wagner. Taylor. Mr. Taylor. The court hereby recognizes that you're a fucking moron. And yeah, thanks for wasting all of our time, you asshole. And moving on, nothing really to do with protests of any sorts, but when you have a cause, when you want people to know your name, sometimes you have to go to the extent of running out on the field. Other people are just blessed with fantastically rememberable names. And this player for a non-NBA team, because I don't really follow the NBA, and outside of that, I don't know. But I know this guy, and I do want to give just a very brief credit to Mrs. Sway because she DM'd this clip to me. She is more disconnected from basketball than I am, but she thought, hey, this might be worthy of being on the Sway Parade. And I saw it and I was like, you are right. And that goes for you as well. If you see something that you think, hey, I could see this on the show for sure, send it my way. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Chuck_Sway is the handle. If you want to email it, you're old fashioned like that. The email is different. I announced it last week, the new email. Moving forward, this is the email. It's imhim@chucksway.com. Shoot an email that way. But let's take a look here and see what this clip is all about and why it was worthy for the show.
A song curling off the screen, driving baseline. Oh, you fat with a three. Yes, I just said that. That is that man's name. Don't tweet at me.
We just have our commentators who have been getting a lot of shine over the last couple of weeks for their flub ups. This sounded like a flub up, but it was no flub up. I'll play it again. There's a dish out here.
Oh, you fat with a three.
Ho you fat for the three. With the three, rather. That's this guy's name. His last name. It's on the jersey. Ho, H-O-U-Y-O-U, fat, F-A-T. It's a dude's name. Now, I didn't do any more digging into this to find the etymology of the name. Or is it just like, I believe there's a player in college football right now, DeColdest Crawford. It's his legal name. So I don't know if this is a tie to some culture and that this is a common name. It's like Asian names, Wang. That's, for a lot of people, it's like, okay, yeah, that's just a pretty common Asian name. But for junior high kids, it means penis. So there's really, Ho You Fat is Ho You Fat. It just happens to be this guy's name, but Ho You Fat is Ho You Fat. Moving on here and rounding out the deep shot. As we always do, we have to. It's time to get country strong.
Country Strong play of the week.
And like this segment always plays to, I gotta suit up, put on this here hat. That's right. This is a part of the show where Chuck is not running things and pressing buttons. It's me, Country Strong Clyde, here to call another fantastic Country Strong play of the week. We're just gonna go ahead and run it here, and oh my goodness, this one just fresh off the bat. Oh, this Country Strong indeed. So this is a large man. I mean, he might not even be a man. He looks closer to be a boy. There's not a whole lot of hair on that chin, but he's a big old boy at a trampoline park. And with me being big as well, not this big, mind you, with me being big as well, I've been to these here trampoline parks, and I've jumped around, and I've experienced gravity ups and downs, and not very flexible am I. Just up and down, bouncy bounce is really what I do. But this man here, this Country Strong man, I don't even know, he's doing manly things, even if he might be just a boy, because this man is hacking physics. He's got to be, I'm just going to throw a number out there guessing, probably 350, 375 pounds, something around there. And he is flippity doing in this trampoline park, down the line, does the springboard, whatever you call it. I never did gymnastics. I would never cut out for it, but he does that front spring off his hands, does a immaculate backflip, then a front flip and lands, and the perfect form, arms out straight, Country Strong style. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I cannot believe it. How is this even possible? He's just Country Strong. Wow. What a way to end out the deep shot. We're going to move on here to the rest of the show. And I'm going to see you next week. By the way, my name is Country Strong Clyde, and I'll see you next week for the next Country Strong. Thank you, Clyde. That was fantastic. Wow. Okay. Well, moving on. Let us scrub some clips. Scrub my clip. Okay, got some clips for you this week. They're always fun. They always have all of them have a bit of moistness to them. They never really compare to whatever the moistest clip is. And this one's pretty moist. And we'll get to that at the bottom of the segment. But starting off, let's just take a look at this. What is this all about?
What is the rare item in a collection you have? I'll go first.
Wow. This pediatric skull of a 4-year-old is pretty rare. This 21-week-old fetal skull is pretty rare. Look how tiny it is. Chonky boy is pretty rare. Chonk. My human skull that's been exploded is pretty rare. And my human spine wall is pretty rare. And my phantom skull is pretty rare.
All right, so if you're just listening, this guy is sharing with everyone his not just a few collections of human bones, an entire room that is filled with bones. And for this space, for the bone collectors out there, this is a hard flex. For everyone else, it's really fucking weird. So he goes in and starts out with, well,
Wow. This pediatric skull of a 4-year-old is pretty rare.
he has a skull of a 4-year-old. And he's like, it's pretty rare. Not a lot of 4-year-olds die and their skulls go onto the market for purchasing. And then just starting out there, okay, a 4-year-old. Well, hopefully that's the youngest one you got. Oh, think again.
This 21-week-old fetal skull is pretty rare.
A fetal skull. It now makes you think, when they throw that vacuum on and do an abortion, what do they do with the what comes out after they clean out the vacuum? Someone somewhere was like, well, we could sell this skull. I mean, you make the argument that it's not a person, so it's just a regular skull. Skull doesn't have a social security number.
Rare. Look how tiny it is.
Yeah, it's a fetal skull. And then the cat,
Pretty rare.
which, oh, my cat's pretty rare. Like, look, like I don't live completely alone. I do have animal companions. Here's my cat, and now I'm going to step down on my cat's little kitty parts. I don't know if it's male or female.
My human skull that's been exploded is pretty rare.
This one right here that I just paused on, it is a wall of hanging spines. Pretty much from what it looks like, the bottom of the neck all the way down to the hips. And there are probably 50,
And my human spine wall
100,
is pretty rare.
150 spines that are just hanging up there. What the fuck? I'm midway through this Dahmer series on Netflix, and I'm not going to go as far as saying I think it's a little closed-minded to just be like, this guy is a serial killer because he has all these bones. No, he just has this hobby. But in watching this whole Dahmer series and all the shit that he did, and he did his experiments on the bodies and he had bones and all that shit, it doesn't seem too, how do I put this respectfully? It just is not normal. It's odd, especially like, I don't know, adult skulls, adult bones, I guess would be, you could consider them more normal to have a collection of. But then when you have little pediatric skulls of a child and you just like, yeah, like it's just strange to me. And all the spines too. That is even beyond the kid bones of the skulls. Just how many fucking spines there are here.
My human spine wall is pretty.
The human spine wall. And there are so many. If you are a listener and you're just kind of painting in your head like, oh, Like, yeah, it's just, good amount of spines. I get it. Go to the video on YouTube, pull it up. There's chapter markers on the video to show, and just navigate to the playhead bone collector, and you'll see these freaking spines. It's a hobby, I guess. I don't want to knock him too hard. That's what he's into, but still, what the fuck? Can you imagine going to this guy's house to hang out, or you're on a date with him and you show up at his house? It's like, oh yeah. It's like, let me show you my bone room. You go in there and you're like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I think it's fair to assume that you're going to be adding to this collection tonight. Can you just do it quickly? That's just my only request. All right, moving on.
I'll poke it and then suck.
Jesus Christ!
She cannot follow simple fucking instructions.
So this is a failed shotgun attempt for a tasty alcoholic beverage that just goes wrong from the get-go. And I can't be above this for saying, oh, your form's all wrong, because way back when, I think it was within the first 10 episodes or so of this show, I did a shotgun and it went everywhere. I took a thin knife and punched a hole. It had been shaken up, sprayed everywhere, got over all the equipment in the other space that the show used to be in. And it's messy. But I want to put a little bit more of a critique on these two, because there are two of them. I mean, how many morons does it take to shotgun a beer? For the most part, it's usually one. But in this case, it's two. And he goes for the punch. She immediately, and it happened to me as well, the spray of foam with the pressure being released went straight into her eyes, and she just dropped down, dropped the can. Shotgun is now beyond. It's not happening.
Jesus Christ!
That little tiny frame, it's on Instagram, so I can't scrub back and see it, but she's just, I got seltzer in my eye. She's just on the ground, just wallowing in pain because her eyes are probably just burning with the sugar and the alcohol.
She cannot follow simple fucking instructions.
And then the guy just like, this was your fault. This wasn't on me. Welcome to chaos. Their lives seem to be quite chaotic. Moving on here. Ring camera. Let's see if there's any racial profanity.
Come on, Mom, open up the door. Why is the screen door locked? I gotta poop.
Nope. This is a different one. Not a titty getting pressed. Not a slur being uttered. Dude rolls up to his mom's house, parks in the front lawn, and nature is calling. Man's got to shit real bad.
I don't got 5 minutes. I only got 1 minute. Come on.
1 minute, given this behavior of just rolling up as aggressive as he did, trying to get into the house, that's less than a minute. That's 30 seconds, and it is counting down quick.
Open the door. You're blowing up my bathroom. Mom, I will take a shit on this front porch. Open it up.
He will. I believe him.
It's jammed. You're messing with me.
Go around to the back door.
Go around the back. I can't walk any farther. Open up the damn door. Mom, just...
It's not working.
I'm sorry, damn it.
Oh, the door's jammed. You can't go around in the back. It's like, there is no going around in the back because it's coming out of my back right now. So he throws open the door, runs in, and we've all been here. We have all been at a DEFCON 5, defecation condition. 5, the ultimate emergency where there is going to be hot goo shooting out of your ass at warp speed, whether you like it or not. And in much of my experiences, this has happened in the car. And the majority of those car experiences have happened while I've been driving. So you have to remain safe, but sometimes safety becomes a secondary concern where, understandably so, your primary concern is, am I going to shit my pants as an adult? Is this going to, are my sphincter muscles going to give in and I am just going to evacuate my bowels in the most violent way, all in my pants? Just a few stories for you, and I got plenty of them. One time, I believe I was 17, maybe 18, hadn't had my license for very long. And as a young driver, I was very cautious on the road, follow all the rules, like do all of that, don't speed. The rule book was thrown out on this particular evening. I believe I had left a pizza place and I was driving home, and the house that I had lived in at the time, there was a long, like very long, steep graded hill. The hill itself probably was half a mile. And that was normally for law abiding drivers, probably a 5-minute drive. I bombed down that hill, and at the bottom of it, it was a T intersection. Ran the light. I mean, fuck it. I got to get home. Went down to another intersection, 3-way, bombed through that so I could get home and just squirt goo. I proudly can say that even having to break the law, the rules of the road, I've never actually shit myself in the car. I've always made it. And growing up, 17, 18, whenever that was, a long time ago, I've become more experienced as a man, and I've become more experienced as a man with gastrointestinal issues that happen quite frequently. So I've learned some tricks. First, remain calm. Just know that whatever the outcome is, it will all be over soon. Second, well, if you're driving, follow the rules of the road, but try to trick yourself. This is the hardest tip. Try to trick yourself as to how close to home or to a toilet you actually are. And this is something you have to tap into the subconscious, because you can't just tell yourself, oh, I don't really recognize this road that you drive on every single day. But try to trick yourself. That's like, hey, logistically, like I'm almost to the final road to turn in the driveway or whatever. But take it, kind of chapter it out, partition it, where it's like, okay, well, I just have to make it to this street, and then I take a right on there, and then I'll deal with it, when I get there. And then just, hey, next, then you get closer and closer to the toilet. The last tip, and this only applies to the men. If you got a wiener, this might work. It does for me. Because there's so much pressure building up inside of you, down where your asshole is naturally, you're using all of your might to keep that butthole clenched so it doesn't just fly out of you. But I think in a lot of cases, men, again, because you have to have a penis for this to work, or at least for me, I have to have a penis for it to work. I feel like a lot of guys neglect the fact that there is still additional pressure you can apply that takes away some of the strain from your asshole. Now, don't get me wrong. The main point of strength needs to be your sphincter in that asshole. But if you go to your manhood and squeeze that as well, it's like a entourage effect of sorts, of like pressure up front, pressure out back. And it does help. Now for women, I don't know if there is any sort of alternative that I could offer. Maybe just like take your lips or like press down on your clit. I don't know. I haven't tried it because I'm not a woman. So unfortunately the tip doesn't apply to you. But for guys, the tip is take your tip and just squeeze it down and hold it. For me, it helps. Hopefully it'll help you, because this show is all about changing lives and improving them. Moving on. scrubbing clips, staying on the same theme. So right before I started recording this episode, I had a link to the clip that was to be on Instagram. Clicked on the link. Oh, this is no longer available. Huh, that's weird. So I had to do some digging. I found him on TikTok. His handle on TikTok is Lots of Poop. Where is it? I don't see the account here. But on Instagram, it was Poop Dad. Whatever the case may be, I found the guy. And going to his TikTok page, I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok, but going to the TikTok page, his last, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts. 4 of them are like have the little eye through it restricted of like, hey, like some people found this, disturbing. Just so you know, like we'll let you see it, but just here's a heads up from us. This might be disturbing. There's only one of them that it's just normal. You can play it as it is. And the one that I had actually found or saw on Instagram and then found again here on TikTok, and I'm about to share it with you, is a different tag. There's not the eye through it. There is a little blurb here. It says, participating in this activity, whatever's in the video, could result in you or others getting hurt. So let's take a look at what that really means.
A lot of people don't realize this, but the small pepperoncinis at Olive Garden can also be used as a nose plug.
So, a bunch of poop. That's the handle on TikTok. It was Poop Dad on Instagram. The account doesn't exist anymore. The Instagram was just like, we're literally not dealing with this shit. Get it off our platform. TikTok's like, hey, just so you know, you could hurt yourself if you do this. Watching this back again now, it does make sense. The man does who is it? Kevin in SpongeBob when he orders a Krabby Patty and there's no pickles. But then at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, the pickles were under his tongue the whole time. There were pickles there all along. This man does this with pepperoncinis, which as a white, I can't really handle spice, but I do love some pepperoncinis. But they're still spicy, still makes things hot. And, as you heard at the end of the video, what shot out of his butt, which he's in a safe space. He's in a bathroom in Olive Garden. That's what happens with pepperoncinis. But
a lot of people don't realize this, but
he's talking normally. He has these 2 pepperoncinis just tucked in the bowels of his mouth that will soon exit the bowels of his bowels.
Small pepperoncinis,
but he plugs his nose with both of them.
Also be used as a nose plug.
Nose plugs, hot peppers to distract your nose from the hot poo smell that will be coming up. And he's just laying it on, just to show what TikTok thinks is disturbing. Let's watch this one. I'm going to give this guy some shine because this is a lane that I think a lot of people should enjoy.
Good morning. I hope you're having a good day. Seize the day.
So he's in a Batman helmet in a lot of a Batman mask in a lot of these videos. And really his lane is just sitting on the toilet and taking just squirty shits. Real squirty. And I mean, they were moist for sure, but they're not as moist as the moistest clip here this week.
This next clip is so moist.
And this here is a monkey getting a blowjob by another monkey. Nice. I didn't realize that monkeys did blowjob. I know monkeys are horny beings. There are relatives, and humans, we're pretty horny too. But the little leg that gets put on the blower of said monkey, puts his leg up on like the shoulder or the head and just starts like power driving. Like, yeah, monkey dick, suck it. And even for the YouTube crowd, this is blurred out just because I don't want to take any chances. I don't want this content, YouTube, to think that it's harmful, not show you. But I will say that all the links, everything that is shown in the show, you can view swayunlimited.com/blog. Every single episode has show notes. There's a link to that page in the description or the show notes of the podcast platform you're listening on YouTube. So everything that is censored for, whatever reason, you can view it uncensored. Just follow that link. But yeah, this monkey's getting a blowjob. Normal, right? Dismounts, and then they kind of look over at who's taking the video, and they're like, "Oh, well, I see you are here. I see that you saw that I was getting my monkey dick sucked. Well, nothing now. Move along." They're just kind of crouched down, and then the blower just kind of like walks across, like, "Hey, this is my monkey dick to suck, not yours. Go on." Kind of stands in between. And that's where the video ends. But the moistness does continue, at least for them. Hopefully they got a nice monkey finish in there. Well, that does it for Scrub My Clip. Let's move on to the news.
Yeah, what's the big deal, fella? It's just a little bit of news.
Top story here in the news. Mum, and this is out in the United Kingdom, mum left in hospital for days after dog pooed on her face as she slept. A woman spent 3 days in hospital. Mind you, I didn't alter the excerpts from this article. It is written in British English. A woman spent 3 days in hospital after her daughter's dog accidentally did a poo in her face while she was asleep. The mum was taking an afternoon nap with Chihuahua Belle when the pooch became ill and had violent diarrhea. The mum of 3 was asleep with her mouth open, top and tailing with Belle when the messy accident occurred, and some got in her mouth. She ran to the bathroom to be sick, but later ended up in hospital with a gastrointestinal infection passed on from the pooch. Now, if you have dogs and you sleep with them, you're always kind of potentially running the risk of riding that lightning, because dogs don't sleep in beds like normal people, right? They don't have their heads, typically don't have their heads up at the pillows that we do. They're on the opposite side, or down at the base of the bed so they can keep watch, whatever. But there have been many a times where I've woken up and there's been an asshole in my face of a dog. And one could hope that during that time that I was asleep, there wasn't any farts. I've never been shitted on in my mouth, but any farts, you're asleep and dog lets a fart go and you're still sleeping, and then you just kind of, then you roll over and continue on with your snooze. But this woman was taking a step further. So the dog just started shitting. And this is a little Chihuahua, so it's probably up like right on the shoulder. And they're sleeping together and then just into the mouth. Ugh. There was a quote from her. "I was having my afternoon nap with Belle, like I always do, when I suddenly felt something squirt in my mouth. I rushed to the bathroom and my son was in the shower. So before I washed it out, I had time to take a quick snap." So she actually took a picture of it. I don't have it, but the link to the article, you can take a look. But she wakes up with poo in her mouth, tries to go to the bathroom. Her son's in the shower. I mean, what more worse of a situation as a son to be in the shower and your mom comes in the bathroom like, get out right now. It was disgusting and I was hurling violently for hours after. I just couldn't get the taste out of my mouth. Later that day, she started displaying the same symptoms as Belle, the Chihuahua. So she rung 111, which I guess is their 911. and they sent an ambulance to her home. Paramedics prescribed her painkillers for her stomach cramps and instructed her to drink lots of water to flush out any potential infection. I mean, really good advice for any sort of medical woe. Just drink water or milk if you can, if you're not phlegmy. After her visit, her symptoms became progressively worse, and 48 hours later, her cramps had spread all over her body. She rang 999, which I don't know what the difference is between 111 and 999, but they were able to dispatch another ambulance, and this time she was transported to an infirmary and immediately hooked up to a drip. There, doctors diagnosed her with a gastrointestinal infection that had been passed through, go figure, Bella's feces into her mouth days earlier. So, I mean, if you think that eating dog shit is not that bad, well, think again, because it'll fuck you up. She was kept under observation for 3 days while they rehydrated her with electrolytes and glucose, and she'd lost throughout the horrific ordeal. The mom, who also suffers from Crohn's disease, good God, said, "From the moment I got ill to when I was put on the drip, I couldn't eat a thing." So, insult to injury, has this Crohn's disease, which is just not a good time for your poops. And then you throw dog shit into the mix. She was really fucked up, but she did make a full recovery. The dog did too. But hopefully she's going to think twice when it comes down for afternoon nappy, to maybe keep the dog, just outside of projectile shit into your mouth distance. All right. And if you thought that was wild, well, let's check out this wild news.
Oh, dude, that's some wild news.
6 women in neon green leotards attacked 2 New York subway riders. 2 women were attacked in a New York City subway by a mysterious group of women in neon green full bodysuits. A video of the assault shared on social media shows the group, which has been called the Green Goblin Gang by local media, punching and tossing 2 19-year-old women on a subway train near Times Square at around 2 a.m. The assailants escaped at the scene with a cell phone and a handbag, and there is a video of this. I'm going to show it to you here. New York subway, the city that never sleeps, 2 a.m. near Times Square, and yes, that is a group of women in bright neon green bodysuits, the morph suits. And I mean, pretty New York. There are some people that are just standing there waiting for their train to come. Other people with just their phones out. You can't really tell there is a scuffle on the train. This is like a platform and a half over. Who took the video? Well, they're scuffling. They're throwing hands. A lot of people are just kind of watching like, oh my God, it's a Green Goblin Gang. And some words are being exchanged. Again, it's far away. You can't really tell. This guy in the AC/DC sweatshirt's trying to just keep the peace. Takes the AC/DC sweatshirt off. Let him know he means business or something. And they're just screaming. This guy is just standing there. Oh, and then now the assault has begun. They're throwing fists, and in, I guess, very proper New York fashion, everyone just keeps watching. Hey, it ain't them. And then they just kind of walk away. One of them's got the hoodie off, the morph suit hoodie. They go back onto the train. I mean, for one, it said they escaped, which this is a group of, what is it, 6 women in neon green morph suits. And the police show up. It's like, which way do they go? What'd they look like? Well, they were in neon green morph suits. Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to find them. Honestly, this might just go into a cold case file. I don't know how the fuck they escaped. I also don't know whoever the mastermind of the Green Goblin Gang is. I aside from having a pretty neat group name, dumb, just stupid. So, hey, we want to be noticed, but we also want to commit crimes. But we're not going to get caught. Don't worry. It's New York. Maybe their thought is that surveillance cameras or any cameras in general, someone taking out their phone filming them, it's like, well, it's green. It's a green screen. The cameras can't pick up green colors. So we'll get away with it. Well, that's not how it works, but still, it's blowing my mind here that they got away. I'm sure they'll pop up again, or maybe a copycat of the Green Goblin gang. But yeah, pretty wild indeed. New York is a wild town if you've never been. I wasn't mauled on the subway at 2 a.m. near Times Square, but shit happens there. I mean, it's New York, baby. Come on. Okay. Well, that pretty much does it for our show. Last order of business really is we have to pray to the almighty algorithm and then get out of here. So at this time, I ask that you, if you want to, you don't have to, but it helps. It helps me think that, people on the other end of this here microphone are raising their hands and bowing their heads and giving their praise to the almighty algorithm, because it's not just the show that it affects. It is all content that you consume. So just keep that in mind if you do want to pray, and we will do so right now. Oh, almighty algorithm, thank you for blessing us with another episode of the Sway Parade. Your choices of what content comes my way, whether it be through my own browsing or through the viewers and listeners, it is valuable, one and the same. You guide our way of what weird shit I should see and what everyone else should see. And I just want to take the time to thank you for all that you do, because you mean so much to us, almighty algorithm. And you mean so much to me. Amen. Oh, it's always so spiritual. Pray to the algorithm. Well, with that out of the way, that does it for another episode of the Sway Parade. I do want to give a shout out to the Parade Plus supporters, because there is actually a subscription that you can help support the show. Every single dollar that isn't lost in a transaction fee goes to help the show spread the reach, offering money to the almighty algorithm, just trying to get the word out there that this is the parade. This is what it is. So shout out AJ Joe, Michael Davis, Reverend Tanner Mills, Quinn, and Tyler. If you want to contribute in a monetary sense to me, so then I can let the algorithm know, hey, people should be watching and viewing this shit. SwayUnlimited.com/pricing. Few different plans to mull over and consider. And also it's a bit preemptive, but in the coming about a month and a half, there's actually going to be a Patreon. It's a little bit more structured there, and the pricing will go down because you go to that page, SwayUnlimited.com/pricing, see that there's a one-time fee of $532.76, whatever it is, for that top tier. That's going bye-bye. That's a lot of scratch. But that does it. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Again, remember to leave some sort of offering to the almighty algorithm. Leave a review, share digitally, share with your friends, organically, whatever. It is much appreciated. Alrighty, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.